Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host. It is a solo pod edition here today. Dan will be rejoining us for the next podcast. Um, okay. Well, let's address the elephant in the room. What happened to Team Vitality? What was that? I don't know what I saw. It looked like they did. I don't have words. They got beat by a tier 3 to 4 team. They realistically got beat by 2 players. What happened? Uh, let's get into the recap here, folks. The winning lineup was very unique. It had no team vitality, which is not surprising considering how absolutely terrible Team Vitality were playing as a team. I were they overconfident and underestimated 9Z? I mean, underestimating, I can understand it. They're a weaker team. What happened? You got beat by 2 players out of 5! My goodness! I just... I don't know what's more tilting. Team Liquid losing the Dignitas over Team Vitality losing the 9Z. I don't know what's more tilting. I mean, congratulations 9Z. But what happened to Team Vitality? Yes, I'm playing 3 Heroic against 9Z in the next round. What happened? I just... I don't know, folks. Whatever. Let's get into the breakdown here. Captain Try ended up winning the GPP. And as crazy as this 2-game slate was, there was a 2-way tie for first place. Both with the... actually, 2 different lineups. We're going to go over both. I thought they were the same. We're going to go over both lineups. Captain Try was the winning captain in both lineups. 72 frags, 22 assists, 43 deaths, 15 first kills, a 1v2 clutch, 2 4Ks, and a 5K, 167.25 Draftkings points in the captain spot. Wow! And 1.1% on the captain spot. Congratulations to the folks that played 9Z. I did not play 9Z. I know Team Vitality doesn't look good, but they're still a tier 1 team. Someone signed that kid Try. My goodness, he looked phenomenal. Some team sign him. I'll say this now. That kid is on Furia or MIBR within 2 years. He could be on there as soon as this year if Junior doesn't work out with the team. I'm just throwing that out there. It's possible. Not saying it's happening. It's definitely possible. He's 16 years old. He went toe-to-toe with Zywoo and won. It was absolutely... He had an insane performance. He ran back Try with Max. Both of these lineups both had Try and Max, which is understandable. Max also, kind of like we talked about in the pod yesterday, was he was really good. We saw those stats. We thought he was one of the better people there. Not surprising. Those are the 2 that won. They were the 2 that really helped 9Z carry them to that victory. Hard-fought victory, for sure. It wasn't like it was a pushover. It was a hard-fought victory for 9Z. Congratulations to them. You're up against Heroic next. GG's. Again, not jumping the gun, but Heroic, again, they just beat Gambit. They just not embarrassed Saw. Saw had a decent showing. But we'll get into it. Cadian, Stown, Tessus were the 3 people on this lineup for Big Heads 1, 2, 3. It was a 3-man stack. It's not exactly like Stown did that good. In all honesty, he was 25, 14, and 20 with 3 first kills and a 4K. 65 points at 9,600. Okay. Cadian got you there 39, 10, and 18 with a 4K. 84 DraftKings points at 10.4. I like that. Tessus also 77 DK points, 38, 9, and 22. He looked really good in that game. And the other run back, oddly enough, this was a double dog run back in this lineup. Just, who Dan got all of us on yesterday. Thank you, Dan, for getting us all on Just. It was a really good call. 52 DraftKings points at 20% owned. Second winning lineup here. Again, Captain Try with Max. This lineup had Cadian, Shuj, and Refresh. That makes sense. Excuse me. RPK was the run back from Team Vitality. He was 62.5% owned. Refresh was 74.6% owned. They opened up a lot. They would just chalk. You had to eat on that last on the slate, plain and simple. No surprise. You needed those. You needed Try and Max. You needed Cadian, and it was just any one of the four other heroic guys. And the RPK run back was interesting, and just like here, the style also in just. So you'll love to see it. Two unique lineups tied for first place. Congratulations to Big Heads 123 and G Mori 202 on your double takedown of $3,250. With that being said, we're gonna get here into the main slate. And before we get into the main slate, if you all could just do Dan and I a big favor, hit that like button. And leave a comment down below. We really, really appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button, folks. We're trying to make this podcast bigger and better. And we want to grow this thing. So please hit that subscribe button this way here. You all know every single time one of these podcasts drop. And how do you do that? You hit that notification bell right next to it. You'll get a notification every single time one of these podcasts drop. We got a big slate here, folks, for a 2-game slate. This is going to go any which way. And to do that, I'm actually going to pull up the Pinnacle odds because this is really interesting. On this slate, very simple. We have OG versus G2 and Team Spirit versus Dignitas. Let's take a look at the Pinnacle odds because I'm really curious who's coming in as the favorite. All right, so OG and G2. It's a toss-up. OG is a -104 favorite. G2 is a -117 favorite. Kind of not surprising. OG took out Astralis. G2 took care of business in their matchup. I forget who they went up against. Let's pull up hltv.org here, folks. And got a lot of news. We're going to talk about that at some point. Anyway, here we go. We're going to go over here to events. All right. Blast Premier. So G2 took out Endpoint, right? Totally fine. So our quarterfinal matchups are OG versus G2, Dignitas versus Team Spirit, Gambit versus Furia. That's going to be fun. And Heroic versus 9Z. Let's figure this out, because Dignitas are good against Liquid. They did. And Team Spirit took care of business against Extra Salt. I think, personally, for GPPs, you can go a 2-2-2. You could go a 3-2-1. I don't think you get off the 2-game slate strategy. The only thing different I would incorporate is the 2-2-2. If you want to go 3-3 and you just think two of these teams just dominate the other, go for it. I think a 3-2-1 is probably far more likely. And I wouldn't decide on 2-2-2. I wouldn't mind a 2-1-2-1. I know it's not optimal. Here's why. OG and G2 are very evenly matched. Team Spirit and Dignitas, while Team Spirit is definitely the heavy favorite, Team Spirit is a -250 favorite against Dignitas. Okay. Dignitas showed something against Astralis. This team is not a pushover. They've been playing event after event after event. Any event that they can get in, they've been playing. They've been getting better and better and better. Do I think they're as good as Team Spirit? No. Do I think they're anywhere near Team Spirit's level? No. No. Do I think Dignitas can upset Team Spirit 2-1? Absolutely. And like I said, the OG G2 game can go either way. Neither one are really an underdog. So if I had to just guess right now, look at the total overall slate, Team Spirit's going to be chalk. Here's the difference with Team Spirit. Dexter's the highest priced player on this slate at $9,800. Mirror's $8,800. Okay? Around them, Valde's $92. Nico from G2 is $8,600. So we get the G2 Nico that's sub 9,000. We're taking advantage of that, folks. Flames also $8,200. Big price increase for him. I'm very aware of the $8,200 price tag, but Flames can absolutely pay it off. Now, the other members of Team Spirit. So SDY is 8,000. Chopper is 6,600. Magisk is 5,600. That price tag for Magisk is very tempting. He didn't look super great versus Team Liquid, but again, it's Team Liquid. But still, I wasn't Team Spirit. I mean, against Extra Salt. My bad. And Part of me wonders if he's going to be chalk or outright just not owned, or he'll be like 10 to 20% owned. I'm very curious to see what his ownership will be on this slate. Chopper is who I think is going to come in as chalk, because it's something that I did on the last time Team Spirit won the slate. I captained Chopper. That opened up a lot. Chopper is only 6,600. He's $9,900 in the captain. 9,900. He always more expensive than everyone else. You could easily go Chopper, Captain Chopper with Dexter and Mir, and you have roughly $7,200 left over per player. If I wanted to go 2 OG, let's say I wanted to go Valde and I wanted to go Nico. Okay, I got $6,100 left per player. I want to do a G2 run back. Next is 6,000. I'm an X 4,600. Maybe I don't want to go Nico. Maybe I want to go Alexi B. I got $7,300 left over. I could go 3-3. I could go Montu, 7,200. Too cheap. I could go Jax at 7,000. There's different ways to get on this slate. There really, really is. So, let's go over this. First game here on the slate. OG versus G2. Again, both of these teams are slight favorites. It's a pick'em. Let's talk about the pricing. OG, Valde is 9,200. Flames is 8,200. Montu, the offer for OG, is 7,200. We have Nico at 6,200. OG's Nico at 6,200. And Alexi B, the IGL for OG, is at 5,000. Players I like on this slate. Valde, my favorite OG player on this slate. I understand he's expensive. If people are playing for Dexter, and they're playing for Mir, and they're playing for G2 Nico, Valde could come in sub 30% ownership at $9,200. I love that. Love Valde on this slate. He's one of my favorite players on the slate. With that being said, Flames is my second favorite player on the slate, but we saw from him against Astralis, kid looked really good. He's going to fit right in with OG. My third favorite play is going to be OG's Nico. This might get confusing. Nico versus Nico. Won't get confusing. But here's the deal with Nico. 6,200. I'm factoring in price on this. We're going to want to get to the Team Spirit players. If you're playing Team Spirit, you're going to have to get value somewhere. And as I showed you, you get a cheap captain like Captain Chopper, or if you want to go Captain Nico, you want to go Captain Mantu. Mantu, by the way, if I didn't factor in price, is my third favorite player from OG. When I factor in price and just overall on the slate, I think Nico slightly outperforms Mantu by price. Mantu's my fourth. Alexi B fifth. Look, Alexi B had a great showing against Astralis. I'm not knocking it. He's still not exactly a high-fragging IGL. He's a middle-of-the-road IGL. Look, don't get me wrong. Middle-of-the-road IGL. Like playing Alexi B. We're going to probably get Mirage. Both of these teams really like playing Mirage. Alexi B is a great Mirage player. Also has a good Mirage tutorial for those of you out there playing Counter-Strike. I started watching it. He goes over nade placements and other stuff. So he's got a good Mirage, I wouldn't say tutorial, but like different ways to get better at playing Mirage. Mirage is not one of my favorite maps playing Counter-Strike, but I will say this. He's definitely one of the better Mirage players out there from a strategic standpoint. So I think Alexi B is probably a top 5 IGL in the world, in my opinion. Or definitely top 10. Alright, with that being said, let's get to the G2 side of things. G2, Nico is 8,600. Hunter, 7,800. Love that price tag for Hunter. Under 8,000. Love that price tag. Jax at 7,000. Nexus 6,000. Amanek, 4,600. Reasons I don't quite understand. Why is he sub $5,000? Put him back in the $6,000 range. Put him in the $5,000 range. 4,600 if you're playing G2. He is point per dollar on G2. Probably one of the better ones. I understand it's OG. How good OG looked against Astralis. Amanek's usually the one double opping. I like that price tag for Amanek. He doesn't need much to get there. And I think he very much can get there on this slate. With that being said, in order. Hunter 1, Nico 2, Jax 3, Amanek 4, Nexa 5. Nexa is a middle of the road to lower fragging IGL, like slightly low fragging. He has a ceiling, but I'm not at 6,000 on this slate. I'm gonna need every dollar to pay off for players. This is not a leave $10,000 on the slate type of deal, or a couple thousand. Like there were players we want to get to, and I need to get every penny on this slate. So that's why I'm playing next to 5. So I'm gonna say OG are gonna OG are gonna beat G2 by how good they looked playing Astralis. I think both of these games can easily be 2-1. They could easily be 2-0. My bold prediction is OG beats G2 2-0. What I mean by bold is I don't think G2 keep it that competitive, and I think we're going to see a completely different looking OG. No longer the passive defense like OG. We're going to see a more attack style OG to middle of the pack of like balance. It's my opinion. Flames changes this entire lineup around. Now, let's get on to the second game here on the slate. Team Spirit versus Dignitas. Let's just get it out of the way. Dexter's the opera for this team, okay? By the way, G2, Nico is the opera. He's kind of a hybrid role. And Nexus is the IGL for G2. All right. Dexter the opera for Team Spirit, 9,800, the most expensive player on the slate. We absolutely want to try getting Dexter in our lineups if at all possible. Dexter, cash game lock. Mir, cash game lock. Okay, wouldn't say so much a lock. They're my favorite cash game plays, and I'm not a cash guy. Dexter and Miro, I think, are some of the safer players on the slate. Dexter, absolutely for cash. Probably the safest play on the slate. Can he blow up? Sure. It's Dignitas. They took down Team Liquid. Team Spirit style of gameplay, I don't see that happening. I just don't. SDY, I'll say it again. Too expensive. Chopper's price tag. Love Chopper's pricing. It's my favorite from this team. I want to go right back to the well on Magisk. But I'd say SDY 4 and Magic's 5th. We need to say it. We need to see it first. We absolutely need to see something out of Magic's first. Magic's, look, it's sometimes a little interchangeable here, folks. Anyway, I want to see something out of him. Definitely playable on the slate. Just my 5th favorite from this team. On the Dignitas side of things. Actually, we'll forget the Dignitas side of things. On Team Spirit, I definitely would prioritize the Team Spirit guys over the Dignitas guys. If you're building around a team on this site, I think you build around Team Spirit. That's my opinion. I think if you're playing cash, definitely build around Team Spirit. So if you want to go Dexter, Chopper, and Magic's, I think that's a way to go. Quite personally, I don't think I'd captain Magic's. Like if you wanted to say I'm going to captain Chopper and cash and go Dexter at either Mir and Magic's and get some of the higher price OG guys, or however you want to play it, that's fine. I just think Dexter is one of the safest plays on the slate. Okay, Dignitas side of things. Lecro, $7,400. Forest, $6,400. Heap is $5,400. I get the cheap price, but just no. Halzerk is the opera for this team. Freiburg is the IGL, I believe. Halzerk is 4,800. Freiburg, 4,200. Look, there were only 3 players I'm playing from Dignitas, and that's Lecro, Forest, and Heap. In order, Lecro 1, Heap 2, Forest 3, Halzerk 4, Freiburg 5th. I think Dignitas can have another upset. I don't think it's as embarrassing of it. I don't think it's as convincing of a win for Dignitas if they win against Team Spirit in the 2-1. I think if they win, it's 2-0. I think they win 2-1. Teams I'm picking for this slate. My core play. My favorite team stack, by the way, is Team Spirit. Core play for me on this slate is Valde at 9,200. I got a good gut feeling about him, and I think he goes absolutely ham. And I think OG are going to need him to beat G2. Value for me, Amanek at 4,600. Heap at 5,400. Jax at 7,000. Chopper, 6,600. And Nico, OG's Nico at 6,200. GPP plays for me on this slate are Dexter, Valde, Mir, G2, Nico, and Flames. Really anyone because of how tight I think these contests could be. The entire 20-person player pool is a GPP play. That is how very close I think these games could go. I think anyone can go off. I think there is no such thing as outside of Dexter, really, there's no such thing as a safe play on the slate, in my opinion. I just think Dexter is too good for against Dignitas. He's the safest play for me, and he's got a high ceiling as well. But everyone on this slate is in play for GPPs. It's not exactly like we really want to fade anyone on this slate. I'm not even coming close to fading anyone. Freiburg might be as close as I come to fading anyone on the slate. I still think if you're MMEing in a large field GPP, you get exposure to Freiburg. You absolutely get exposure to Halzark. Like, there's no outright fade for me on this slate. Like I said, Freiburg would be the closest to come. And if I'm MMEing, I don't think I overlook him either. Like I said, favorite team stack, Team Spirit. And my bold prediction, like I said, I think OG wins 2-0 off a dominating Balde performance. And I don't think G2 can keep pace with OG. Bold prediction, follow up, G2 doesn't get 10 rounds in either of the first two maps. And doing an OG sweep. Again, there's a reason we call it a bold prediction. That being said, Dan will be back on the next podcast. Remember, hit that like button and leave a comment down below. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way there you all know every single time one of these podcasts goes live. And with that being said, I will see you all on the next slate. You can follow Dan on Twitter at Wandelch, WANDELCH. Follow me on Twitter at AdamWX21. New and fun announcements coming soon. Stay tuned. Good luck on this slate. Latest, peoples.